Hey, in this video I'm going to show you how to vibrate your Android device, and this is the layout that we're going to use. We have three buttons. One is vibrate. When I click on this button, the phone or the device will vibrate for a certain duration, and clicking on the rhythm button will make it vibrate in a certain pattern. And finally we have the stop vibration button. When I click on the stop vibration button, the phone is going to stop vibrating. That's the idea. And here let's go back to our source folder, and I have the vibrate activity.java. And here you can see I have already got three reference variables, one for the vibrate button, the second one for the rhythm button, and the third one for the stop vibration button. You can also see that we have acquired references to these widgets by calling the find view by ID methods. And also we have a click listener to handle click events on these buttons. So that's the idea. Let's go ahead and write some code. We're going to modify the onClick method so that the buttons when clicked will do the appropriate jobs. So switch view.getID, and first one is the vibrate button, and I'm going to remove this default case and replace it with two more cases, r.id.rhythm break, and finally the r.id.stop vibrating button. So we have three methods. Before we begin vibrating the phone, we'll have to acquire a reference to the vibrator. So I'm going to declare a reference variable for the vibrator. We have it, and you can acquire a reference to the vibrator by calling the Context.getSystemService method. We're going to do that. So vibrator is equal to get system service and context.vibrator service. Let's go ahead and add a typecast. It's done. I have an error message right here. It says cannot be resolved. Why is that? Stop vibration. Okay, the ID is stop vibration. Stop vibration. That's it. So now we have the vibrator instance that we're going to use, and in the vibrate case I'm going to call Vibrator.vibrate, and I'm going to give the milliseconds, which is 1000. It's equivalent to 1 second. And for the rhythm, I'm going to call a different method on the vibrator, which is Vibrator.vibrate, and a pattern. So when we're talking about the pattern, a pattern is a long array, and the pattern has odd and even indices, and the even indices such as 0, 2, 4, they specify the duration for the phone to remain silent, which is there will be no vibration in the even indices, and the odd indices such as 1, 3, 5 should specify how long the phone should vibrate. So we're going to specify 250, 500, which means the phone will remain silent, or the phone will not vibrate for 250 milliseconds. That is 1/4 of a second, and the phone will begin vibrating for 500 milliseconds, which is half a second exactly. And repeat allows you to specify if you want to repeat the pattern. If you don't want to repeat the pattern, just specify -1, which in this case will keep the phone idle for 250 milliseconds and vibrate it for 500 milliseconds. And if I specify 0, that says keep the phone idle for 250 milliseconds, vibrate the phone for 500 milliseconds, and start over from index 0, which is again keep the phone for idle for 250 milliseconds and vibrate the phone for 500 milliseconds. It will go on until you stop the vibrator by calling the Vibrator.cancel method. So let's go ahead and call the Vibrator.stop sorry, cancel method, which will cancel the vibration. So we have a vibration which will vibrate the phone for 1000 milliseconds, and we also have a method that will vibrate the phone in a specific pattern indefinitely. And finally we have the Vibrator.cancel method, which will stop the phone from being vibrated. We are done. And one more thing, before you can use the vibrator, you need to request permission for that. Android manifest.xml, and under the permissions tab we are going to add a permission, users permission, and from the name we're going to select android.permission.VIBRATE. This is a permission that you have to request on your manifest. If you don't, your application will crash when you call the Vibrator.vibrate method. Let's go ahead and let me run this on my phone. I cannot show you this on the emulator because the emulator does not have a hardware vibrator. It cannot be emulated. So let me try to bring the phone really close to my mic so that you can hear how the phone vibrates. I'm going to run this. You can see I have the actual device, which is a Galaxy Nexus phone, and I also have an emulator running, but we need to test it on our phone. I'm selecting the Galaxy Nexus and let me click on OK. The application is live on my phone. Let me go ahead and click on vibrate. I hope you can hear it. So I clicked on the vibrate button and the phone vibrated for a second. And now I'm going to click on the rhythm button. The phone is currently vibrating indefinitely, and in order to stop that, I'm going to click on the stop vibration button. So it just stopped. That's the idea, and I have a few notes to add to this. The first thing is when you try to use vibration, if you're doing games, it is perfectly fine, but when you're writing applications, using vibration is a little bit annoying to the users at times. And also, since when you vibrate your device, it actually involves a motor which will consume a lot of battery life. So make sure that you do it judiciously. And the other one I want to tell you is if you're trying to include the vibrate option in your application, make sure that you can allow the users to turn it on or off, because some users find that really annoying. And the other thing I would like to show you here is if you quit the application, that is, if you either press on the home button or the back button when the phone is vibrating, your phone will continue to vibrate, and that is not a good thing. We can control it by overriding one of the methods, which is called as a lifecycle method, and we'll be discussing about activity life cycles in the upcoming chapters. But for now, if you're using a vibrator, make sure that you override a method in your activity, which is the onPause method. Click on it and click OK. And right here, after the super.onPause method, make sure you're calling the Vibrator.cancel method. This way, if you're trying to quit your application, or if some other application steals focus from your application, your phone will stop vibrating. So that's really necessary. That's how you use a vibrator in Android. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.